Can you speak up? I hear the fan on in the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stand up. Okay. Let me know if I'm still not loud enough. All right. So I'm Briana Frederick, aka the goat lady in the area. I'm a mother, wife, artist, craftivist, weaver, dyer, and goat and small business owner. Sorry, some of this is redundant from the bio. Though I'm originally from California, I earned a BFA in fiber from the Kansas City Art Institute in 2007 in Missouri. When I found the fiber program, I fell in love. First surface design, which I'd not known I was doing already in high school with my clothing paintings and makeshift alterations. At KCAI, I learned how to professionally dye and manipulate the surface. Then came weaving, creating the surface itself. Our professor, the incredible Pauline Cowart, gave the simplest demonstration and explanation of winding a warp, dressing a loom, winding a bobbin, and then said, "See you Monday." During our first critique, she basically read our personalities from the results of our first ventures into the craft. It was such a gift to enter weaving this way. And so, sorry, the color is a little off, but so these are hand woven silk and oil and tencel, some sample books. I love just dumping a bunch of different fabrics and dye and seeing how they respond. Protein fibers and cellulose fibers take dye very differently. Surface design drawing, and this is not my work, sorry, this is my mentor Pauline's work. I love this piece because it's a jacquard woven, gigantic jacquard woven image, microscopic image of the silk that it is woven with. So I just like that. And all her work is amazing, but that's a favorite. So while art saved me in my younger years, the direction of its purpose in art school sucked. Art school basically destroyed my love of art. If something was functional, it wasn't art, and I hated art on the wall. I loved process and exploring without defending tangible substance over wordy purpose, something I could use, wear, feel, and age with, rather than just look at and interact with my mind. While dyeing and weaving, I could satisfy my need to create with an end purpose I could enjoy the utilitarian use of. This direction did not please the department heads. Pauline was on sabbatical, jerk. And my senior thesis show was basically an FU, a literal quarrel of scarves woven for the matriarchs of my life before I left for my real work in the world via the Peace Corps. While art was my form of processing, my dream was to do tangible good. So this is mostly hanging the show. I don't even remember how many are in here, but it's a whorl of scarves. They're all hand woven and hand dyed. This is an indigo reduction. I did a lot of indigo dyeing that year. And this is Pauline with her scarf because she got one. Sorry my picture quality is not amazing because didn't have phones back then. Ooh, okay. In the Peace Corps, I was stationed in the rural Atlas Mountains of Morocco, working directly with Amazigh weavers in the sector of small business development. Business being something art school gave me no education in. While I may not have improved anyone's life significantly, the experience and connections greatly impacted the trajectory of my life. To this day, I put my hand to my heart when I meet someone, I call my goats, and I scold my cats, and use God phrases in the local dialect that I learned. Not getting into Morocco here, that could be a whole talk on its own. It's incredible. I loved getting kind of even deeper into the background behind weaving, and then kind of the issues that arise in this global economy with many of their fibers actually coming from China at this point, even though they do process all their own wool, and then women getting income. It's created a whole cultural kind of upheaval for these small villages where it's rattled things in good and bad ways. So anyway, amazing experience in Morocco. Living in a small village where people lived close to their extended families and food system is much of what led me next to sustainable farming. After my service and a short blip home to California, I left again for a farm apprenticeship in the Berkshires of Massachusetts. There I fell in love with land, its tending, and of course a guy. I learned to grow, harvest, process, cure, ferment, and sell a multitude of vegetables, meats, and raw milk. Both Peace Corps and farming fulfilled my need to create despite not being my usual mediums. Just some examples. Berkshires are very beautiful. But no art making. My partner led me next to his home state of Kentucky, and our student loan debts led us away from farming to different city jobs. I became a massage therapist, as mentioned, tending to and creating work on the body itself. After my first child was born, I wanted to wear him, and rather than buy a wrap, I bought an old loom, and I wove my own. Despite 7 years away from the loom, I fell deeply back in love, quickly rediscovering my joy in small color, fiber, and texture studies. My usual length of interest before getting another idea is 30 to 40 inches, no more baby wraps, many, many feet. After some play, I began making them into cowls, so mostly I was just playing, but these are all of my children, 3 boys, always all up in my weaving. Hard to get away from. As new motherhood and weaving were taking place, we lived on an acre, mostly overgrown, and had several rounds of farm animals before realizing the most suitable animal for brush control was goats. I was timid about goats due to their well-earned reputation and first-hand experience back when I was farming, which I don't think I have any pictures of the goats back then, but we had them, a lot of them. But I firmed up our fencing and researched. While looking, someone happened to be selling Nigoras, which I'd never heard of. It's a multi-purpose homestead breed. It's a cross between the smaller Nigerian dwarf, which is a milk and meat breed, and the larger Angora, which is full mohair, the long ringlets, resulting in a light fiber milk and meat breed. While the term cashmere comes with some consternation, as officially only cashmere breed goats can produce cashmere fiber, the resulting fiber from a Nigora is the same in feel and function, and likely micron level, although I've not measured mine. It just feels good. It feels like cashmere. Cashmere is already my favorite mammal fiber to work with, so I got some wild ideas and I bought the goats. After my first harvest, which is simply combed out in early spring and processed much like wool, I began playing with it in the studio, quickly finding inlay to be my preferred use. They each produced only a Kroger bag or so of fiber each year. If I spun all of that, I get maybe 2 pieces out of it and need to charge several $100s. As inlay, it can be used in pieces all throughout the year, complementing the mill-produced cottons, silks, rayons, linens, tencels, and more that I purchase. A lot of people think I make everything out of the goat fiber, and that's absolutely not the case, I promise. Since downsizing to 2 goats and moving to Clifton, I now walk them in my urban neighborhood and do education events with them at local schools and libraries. The wonder and joy these animals bring people opens the door to conversation about urban animal husbandry, community, and small business. And they've become so much more than simply brush control and fiber production. These are the 2 goats I have, Betty and Boon. This is Boon when he was a baby, and that was in a book, which is fun. These were my first 2, only he was a Nigora, and then got Boon and our other random animals that we had. And yeah, I'm processing. I don't have a picture of me combing out the wool, but you know, they're in a stand like this and it's combed out with an undercoat comb, much like a dog when in the spring when they got all that hair coming off. Alright, in an effort to sustain my weaving practice and with much encouragement from my new mom community and family, in 2018 I opened Bree Weaves. A few years in and nearing the birth of my 3rd child, I stopped massaging altogether. I usually dress the loom in 10 to 14 yards of sometimes hand-dyed yarn and a general color scheme. So I sometimes draft my own patterns. I often use ancient ones, always erring on less pattern heavy, as the play between color and texture is what interests me most. I use fiber inlay from Betty and Boon where it suits, and each piece I weave informs the next, and the end result is a series of sibling cowls, scarves, or neckerchiefs. They share the same warp, but they have their own unique wefts, complementing the individuality of their eventual owners. This is an excerpt from my kind of embarrassing senior thesis, but it's still somewhat relevant. All life is composed of interactions, essentially the relationship between one element and another. This interaction of elements is process, a seeming chaos without direction, sustained by faith in a foreseen outcome. From chaos to order and back again, the infinite dance. A mess of fibers combed and drawn together to form one strand, then into a snarl of many strands. These threads are then brought to order in the case of a warp, and further relate to a weft to form a complete whole, a woven piece. As naivety grows toward wisdom, so do seemingly unconnected elements grow toward a working unit. A lesson for the future that every knot may someday become a part of a smooth cloth, that every strand, no matter how small, plays an active role in creating a whole. No element anywhere, no matter how lonely, is by itself. When people remark upon the seeming impossibility of weaving, it's very confusing to most, and the volume of work I produce, I often say it's nearly a compulsion. Motherhood is constant chaos. Putting threads in order is blissfully regulating. Raising humans can often leave us feeling wildly inept, and weaving reminds me I'm good at something. Interlocking threads to create new structure is a balm as everything feels like it's falling apart. Having knowledge of but little ability to influence the endless atrocities of the world, especially right now, creating one working, beautiful thing from disparate threads keeps me going. And this is, I just thought it'd be nice to kind of write out the whole process from comb to cowl. Just listing them was kind of fun. And as you can see, only one part of it is weaving. Like people picture weaving as the back and forth stepping on the treadles, and that is by far the most attractive and fun part, but it takes many, many steps, and you have to love all of them to some extent to be a weaver. So I always say anybody could do the one at the loom, back and forth, but I love all of it. As you read a book word by word and page by page, you participate in its creation, just as a cellist playing a Bach suite participates note by note in the creation, the coming to be, the existence of the music. And as you read and reread, the book of course participates in the creation of you, your thoughts and feelings, the size and temper of your soul. Ursula Le Guin, just love that quote. In our society, our connection to the making of all the common things we use is nearly severed, but our draw to and need for it remains. I bring my loom to markets not only to show people how I literally make my work, but because people are so drawn to the process. We know this form of human creation viscerally. There's a pull to something that matters not only practically, but socially, economically, and for sustainability. Sharing our skills, having a maker's labor adorn your body, have it last long and hold memories, to feel and be connected, to have visible how what we have came to be. Each experience is fulfilling in a way we forget we're capable of, a human right even. The impact the loss of these things has had on us is great. It's just examples of at the loom because it's pretty. Someone connecting with a woven, whether for themselves or someone else, and wearing it with joy is the culmination of each piece I make. The joy of weaving is rivaled only by the joy of seeing the work paired with the wearer. These experiences inspire future work and keep my creative cycle moving. While art school didn't give me practical life skills, my resentment has lessened, my debt is paid off, and I actually do use my education in my career, which most people don't. This little venture of Bree Weaves has provided me with my dream looms, materials, space, but it's also healed my relationship with art. Being able to view craft as art and art as craft, to become part of my local art community, to attend and participate in shows again has been such a gift, and be related to places like this. And that's kind of how my work and my being a weaver came to be. These are examples of people in my work, just and several here. Too hot to wear cowls now, but yeah, thank you for your time, and I look forward to conversations that follow. Sorry to make an end slide, but